I'm Allison Villars. I'm Director of Health and Human Services here at St. Tammany Parish, and we're back again with In the Loop. In the Loop is trying to keep you in the loop on what's going on in the parish, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Rick Moore. Hi, Rick.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Look, the only other job I would want in the parish, besides what I have and I cherish, Health and Human Service, would be litter abatement. And I think I told you that in the parking lot one day a couple of months ago.
Yes, you did, sure.
So I'm really happy to meet you and hear more about this topic. I think it's really essential for quality of life in St. Tammany, and I think y'all are doing great work, so we're going to talk about what you're doing. So tell us, how long have you been here, and what's your title?
Great. I've been here about 10 years now. It's my 10th year. My title is Executive Director of Keep St. Tammany Beautiful. I've had that title now for the last year or so recently. It's developed over the years. I started out with the Department of Environmental Services, where the director, Greg Garden, wanted to start a litter program, and we started a program which helped out with picking up litter, which is called litter abatement, which picked up all the trash on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. And I'm pleased to say that recently we have 2 more litter crews on board that are partnered with the Sheriff's Department, where we are able to have 3 vans, litter vans, patrolling the whole parish of St. Tammany, picking up trash on the side of the road, and we also investigate dump sites as well.
Okay, so if I had a dump site that I saw that I didn't think was a legal dump site, mm-hmm. I would do what?
Well, you would contact our office. You would contact the code office or the Department of Environmental Services. The complainant would contact our office. They'd file a complaint with us, or they can go to our website, St. Tammany Parish Government website, go to the Department of Environmental Services drop-down box and look to the right-hand side, and you'll see a litter affidavit form. And any citizen of St. Tammany Parish, if they witness a dump site or witness anyone throwing trash from a car window, let's say, they can help us out tremendously by calling it in, signing the affidavit, and sending it to us. And from there, we will investigate it. We'll run the license plate number down, we'll track down who owned the car, and we will go after that person with a summons.
Okay, so when, let's say I'm the bad person, mm-hmm. and you fill out an affidavit against me, and you're just a resident like me, and I get a summons, what does that mean?
Well, actually, it's a criminal summons.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a misdemeanor criminal summons that you will receive from our office. The constables and the JPs are the ones who handle that. Once you get your summons, you'll get the evidence that comes along with it, which is the photograph of what you did, the affidavit of the person who filed the affidavit. We black out their name and address and phone number so no one could see that part of it. But they get the summons, they have to answer the summons, they have to come to court and speak in front of the judge, and the judge rules what their fines will be.
And so what's the picture? Who took the picture?
Well, you'd be surprised. They have a lot of folks in St. Tammany Parish that are serious about cleaning up St. Tammany Parish. I'm talking about regular citizens, and they're very active, with this. They'll travel around, or when they are traveling around, they see something, they see someone throw out a cigarette butt, for instance. We get a lot of complaints about cigarette butts. And everybody knows that lives in St. Tammany Parish, if you drive up on a street sign, a stop sign, you look out your window, all you see is white cigarette butts. Mm. And most of our calls about cigarette butts. But we get a lot of complaints about trash being thrown out the window. Fast food trash, cigarette cases, all types of things. And that's just one, it's a major tool that we have in our chest of the citizens of our parish to help us, because we can't be everywhere, we need their help.
Right. So I'm going to go back to the abatement part of it. Mm-hmm. The abatement is because people are not caring of the parish at this time. Is that true? It's
true. It's, they have stats that show that the younger males from the age of 18 to 25 are the main culprits of throwing trash out the windows. And that's a national stat, now it's not a local stat. But abatement is tough because abatement is the part where we've got to clean it up. Uh-huh. If we leave it on the street, on the side of the road, it just gets worse. So the programs that we have in place today, which is the 3 abatement vans that we have that say Keep St. Tammany Beautiful on the side, mm-hmm. They're brand new. The administration started this up in February of this year. It's a great exposure for what we're doing. It's a fantastic tool to get our parish clean, but that's not the total answer. You got to educate. There's 3 things nationwide you have to do to fight litter. You have to educate, you have to abate, which is the cleanup part, and you have to enforce. You got to have all 3 in place for this to work.
Okay, so we've talked about residents enforcing it. Do police enforce it?
Oh yes, ma'am.
What do they do?
Well, police have a better tool because they have the vehicles, they have the lights in the vehicles to stop folks. They have the authority to investigate through license plates, track folks down. We've issued summonses as far away as California. You know, people dump here in California, either they're moving or whatever the reasons are. We track them down, we get the evidence, and we learn that they moved to California or Washington or different places. And we go track them down. Now, we don't physically go out there naturally, but we send certified mail, and we contact them that way. And they understand that they're getting a summons for this, and they naturally they pay the bill, they pay the ticket, and it gets resolved.
And how much are tickets?
Well, minimum is $100. The minimum is a $100 ticket. That's the minimum. The maximum we go for a first offense is $500.
Oh, that's steep. Maybe people will really pay attention to it. Hopefully
yes,
they will.
do.
Okay, so we talked about abatement, and we talked about enforcement so we don't get trash on it. Let's talk about education.
Okay.
So tell me, who litters the most besides the age range you just gave us and the gender? Are there people driving cars, walking?
The most we find are the drivers of our state. Those are the ones who litter the most. Those are the ones that either trash blows out the back of a pickup truck. You have teenagers that drive around, maybe throw out fast food. But the bulk, I'd say 53% of litter comes from vehicles.
Okay.
Of some sort.
And I read in the United States, Keep America Beautiful, that it was about 22%, I think, of pedestrians that are the next highest number of violators. So it's people in a car, people outside who are just tossing things.
And this is why, because the national group, which is Keep America Beautiful, did a study, and they put trash cans out in front of store, like shopping centers, that type of thing. And pedestrians, when they're walking, and if they have a Coke in their hand and it's empty and they're trying to find a place to throw it, if they don't have a trash can within 20 steps of where they are to deposit the Coke can, they just simply throw it on the ground. So a major tool that we need to do in St. Tammany, which we're working on it, is trying to get to the business owners and trying to get trash cans with grant money, to support it, to try to get more trash cans out in front of the shopping centers, strip malls, that type of thing.
Okay, so education goes farther than educating these employers. Do employers help us keep things clean?
The business owners? Absolutely.
What do they do?
Well, they have teams that go out, to all like the big box stores, for instance. They have teams that go out, their workers go out, and they spend the day cleaning up around their businesses, down the street, as a matter of fact. Crestwood, which is a boulevard right here in Covington, they go and clean that on a regular basis. But no, they do help us out. They really do. Do they adopt a section of roadway or something in St. Tammany? Yes, we have an adoption program. Okay. If you want to go to the website, you go to Keep St. Tammany Beautiful website or the main website and look for it. There's an adoption program as well. Okay. So if I'm an employer, a business owner, I can go out and decide that we're going to keep this. And does a sign go up saying that, I'm keeping this clean? Yes, we can make a sign for that. Also, what we do, if they have an organization that wants to clean up an area, for instance, like a sponsorship of a big box store, well, St. Tammany Parish, Keep St. Tammany Parish Beautiful, will help with that. We will supply grabbers, which is the litter grabbers. We'll supply bags, vests, safety vests, and we'll help them. And so they just need to contact you and say, hey, look, we need some supplies here. Sure. So just set something up with me. I'd be happy to work with them. And as well, if they collect 100 bags of trash, let's say, well, we'll pick them up for them for free. Okay. So employers are educating their employees by getting them involved in keeping St. Tammany Parish clean, close to their stores and maybe in other places. And we're helping them with supplies, which is great. Right. Okay, so how about kids? What do we do with kids? Well, kids, that's an education process. And what we do with Keep St. Tammany Beautiful is We have teachers that are in the school system, public school system, as well as a private system, that they call us up. Can you come and make a speech? Can you come teach our kids a little bit about litter, recycling, that type of thing? Well, myself being one, my wife being another, Connie Moore, we go into the schools and we teach them. We have charts, we have picture items that the kids can relate to. We hand out litter trinkets, that type of thing. But we teach the kids to please don't litter. And this is litter. How long a plastic cup lasts in the landfill? You know, thousands and thousands of years. So we try to educate the younger children about do not litter, please recycle. And that's what we've been doing. Also, last year, House Bill 111, which is a huge success for all of Louisiana, the House passed a bill to put litter education into the school system, and that's a big plus. Susan Russell, who is the director of Keep Louisiana Beautiful, was a huge advocate of this. She's the one who pushed this, and it got passed. So starting next year, the teachers that are that teach across the whole state of Louisiana will have an opportunity to teach litter, teach recycling in their classrooms, which is a huge success for us because we have never had that before.
So they can choose to do it, or they're mandated to put it in their curriculum?
It's been mandated, but they get to choose the topic, how to do it.
Oh, how to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Where to put it in.
Right, but they have to do it. In some format, they have to have it in there.
So is there a curriculum they can follow or use?
There's a curriculum called Roxy's, and that was, again, designed by Keep Louisiana Beautiful.
How do you spell Roxy's?
Roxy's, R-O-C-K-Y-S, Roxy's.
Okay.
It's a neat little program. It's geared directly to the younger kids from you know, pre-K to, you know, 6th graders. But it's a great tool. Keep Louisiana Beautiful has been pushing it, having seminars and getting the teachers across our area here in St. Tammany Parish involved with it, because it started here. This is another program that started in St. Tammany Parish. And I mean, I'm sorry, it didn't start here, but it originated with Susan Russell. But it's spread all across St. Tammany Parish. We've had classes. We're trying to teach the teachers how to teach, basically is what it's about. But it's a great tool. And with the House Bill 111, it's just going to expand all the way across the state.
Well, I was doing some research before I was talking to you, and I found something fascinating, that there's a group called Women of Infinite Possibilities. Do you know them? They sort of, I think, started with Mandeville, Keep Mandeville Beautiful, and they actually put on a puppet show that they can go into schools and do that puppet show around cleaning, you know, taking care of litter and recycling and that kind of thing. So that's just another weapon in your arsenal of education. So.
I'll tell you, the states around the country that have that you go to that are clean, they started their education programs 30 years ago. So we need to get on the ball and start doing it. I think, you know, in the next 20 years you'll see a huge difference with education. And like I say, if you have all three together, education, enforcement, and abatement, you're going to see a big difference across all the state of Louisiana. Okay,
so I have one other thing I'm really concerned about as a resident of this planet, and that is what I see in waterways. And since we are so much water here in Louisiana, can you help us sort of figure out how all that stuff, is it people on boats throwing it in, or where does that come from?
Well, actually, it's the watershed. It's the water that's on our land, and it flows through our ditches, our rivers, goes out into the Gulf, and from there to the oceans.
Okay, so if I'm driving in a car and I throw something out, it could likely end up in the water.
Absolutely, and that's the major problem. And we, as a matter of fact, I went to a meeting yesterday on that same topic. And the whole key to fight that is we've got to clean up our land. It starts on land. It doesn't start in the water. It starts on land, and then it flows into the water. So we got to do a better job fighting litter on land so it doesn't reach the water. But we have huge problems in the water. Out in even Gulf of Mexico, and the oceans have huge islands just full of debris, litter debris I'm talking about.
And most of that is plastic.
Plastics.
Yeah.
Yes.
So people learning how to bring their plastic bags back to the store and stuff them in those little holes they have so that they can be recycled?
Oh, don't even take them. Don't even take the plastic bags. Leave them at the store.
Even better. What do they do? How do they get their stuff out?
Well, they bring their own little cardboard or their cloth bag. That's what we do. When we go to the grocery store, Rouse's, I'm sure you're familiar with them, we bring our own cloth bag. And we put our groceries, when we finish checkout, we put all our groceries in a cloth bag.
So we need to teach
Recycle.
residents how to do that. They've all got bags at home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got a bag. Or save their paper bag. If you have a paper bag, keep that. Just bring it to you.
Well, that's a great. We're still educating us as adults, and I very much appreciate that. As much as I'm interested in this happening, I get a little bit nervous about it. I'm really worried about. We are so much fishing and hunting here. Doesn't this litter stuff impact the fish and our chain of food, and how does that happen? What happens?
It does, and it's sad because you can go out fishing, you can see our wildlife like our ducks, our geese, our turtles. You see them often, with plastic rings around their neck, on their feet, tied to their feet. They can't get it off. It's a major problem. Recently they did a study, the national folks did a study recently about the amount of plastic I just told you about in our oceans, that plastic is breaking down into minute particles, and the fish are eating that. And that's what you're eating. And it's becoming a problem, and they see it's becoming a problem, and we just have to stop the littering part of it.
If there's one thing you can leave all of us with, one little tidbit, what would you say to everybody in St. Tammany Parish about litter?
Well, it's a team effort, guys. I can't do it myself. I've tried. I've been fighting litter in this parish for over 10 years, and I can't do it by myself. We need all the help we can get. The citizens need to get involved as much as they can. The enforcement needs to be in place. We can't do it. We got to keep our enforcement, whether it be through the constables, the code officers, the JPs, the sheriff's department. All of us have to get into wildlife and fisheries for sure. We got to stay together and fight this all the time. And we have to educate. Education is a huge thing. We have to educate our younger generation. We have to, or it'll never get done. And that's a major problem. That's a major factor. Okay,
one more thing for you.
Okay.
And that is, what's the status of recycling here?
Recycling, I get questions every day about recycling. They call my office. Where can we recycle? Where can we bring plastic bottles? Where can we bring glass bottles? What I can tell you is that we're working on it. Okay. We hear the voice of St. Tammany Parish. We're working on it. It's a fundamentally, it costs money to recycle it. That's no surprise. It costs money. So what we're doing is we're looking into areas, we're looking into new ways of recycling to try to tackle that.
I'm glad you have it on your agenda. That's
great. It's on
my
agenda. It's on my radar. Trust me.
Okay. Well, look, it's been very great to have Rick Moore here. We're going to have him back because we have to keep educating people. But I'm making a commitment right now, right here to St. Tammany Parish, that I'm giving up plastic bags, I'm giving up paper bags, and I'm going to do cloth bags from now on when I grocery shop. Yeah. And Rick, if you see me
I will.
With anything plastic or paper, I want you to come tell me.
I'll come address you.
Okay, and if I had kids at home at this point in my life, I would be educating them to do the same. Thank you for joining In the Loop. We'll be back in a little bit with the next half of our show.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Hi, this is Allison Villars back with In the Loop. I have with me Diane Morris, who works for St. Tammany Parish Government in the Community Action Agency, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, hey Diane.
Hello Allison, how are you?
I'm good, you look great.
Oh, and you look fabulous as always.
Thank you. Hey, tell us about how you got started with community action.
Oh, great story. I was actually a client. I came in, I had heard about Community Action Agency. I was a single mother, needed help with my light bill. And they told me where to go. I went in and I met who is now my office manager, Tanya Hill. And as we talked, and I'm a talker, and I was telling her how much I like to help people. At that time, I was a opening manager for McDonald's, and I said, I said, this must be a rewarding job. And she says, it is. And I said, I would love to do something like this. She goes, we have an opening. And she said, would you like an application? And I said, sure. And so it was different because I'd been in food service all my life. So it was different. And that's how it all started.
Well, I think putting yourself out there and telling people what you want and what you like really helps make things happen.
It definitely does.
So tell me this, because you're a very vibrant personality. I mean, you're really active, and you're really with people when they're there with you. I've watched you with clients. So what is the secret about putting yourself out that much for other people?
I find that you have to be, you have to put something of you out there. You have to empathize, you have to sympathize. With the clients that we have come in, you don't know what's going on in their lives. And so I just feel like I'm a very down-to-earth person. And when people come in, they realize that. Once they realize that, then they pretty much open up a lot, so that, because it's just not about helping somebody with their light bill or gas bill, water bill, rent, or anything else like that. They'll let you know that they're looking for something more. And then sometimes we're able to, put them on the right path.
So who do you see the most? A particular age group, a particular gender, families, individuals?
Yes, predominantly females, single mothers. We do, and our seniors. Our program is so important to our seniors. They really depend, because they're on such a fixed income, and they really depend on us to be there for them. We do have men that come in. It just seems that when the men that come in, men deal with pride a lot. So, but I put them at ease. We put them at ease in our office. We let them know, hey, this happens to everybody. We've seen people that have master's degrees, PhDs. Something happened in the world and of what they lived in, and they just need help. It happens to everybody.
Okay, so when people come into the Community Action Agency, they're coming into one of two locations. Can you tell us about those locations, and then we'll get back to how you can help them?
Sure. There's two locations. One is 520 Old Spanish Trail in Slidell, in the Towers building on the 3rd floor. And then the other one is 1301 North Florida Street in Covington, over by the Parish Fairgrounds.
Okay, so they would come in from 8 to 4:30?
That is correct. We do not close. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. There's always somebody there. We don't close for lunch or anything. There's always an outreach worker available, to see anybody that walks in, and we do receive a lot of walk-ins.
Okay, and the people who need help, who are long-term in this because of a strict income that they have, and they don't have other resources, elderly or disabled. I know that's a group that we serve. So those people are core of the group that come in. So the other people, they sort of understand the programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But people who have never heard of community action, how would you describe what program kind of things are available for them?
Well, those are the phone calls that we get in generally, or like yesterday, for some reason, I had several people just wander into our office, looking for either for something else or looking for us, and wanted to ask questions. So I would sit them down and I would explain to them that we have several programs. We have the LIHEAP, that's the Low Income Heating Energy Assistance Program. That is our core program. That's the one that we help people with their lights and gas with. We help just regular, you have to income qualify, but also we have crisis funds so that if you're in danger of being disconnected or have been disconnected, when we have the funds, we're able to assist you to get the lights turned back on or prevent the lights being turned off or the gas.
So if I get something at my house that says my lights are going to be turned off and I have no way to accommodate that, excuse me, then I would call or come by?
Call or come by, yes. The reason why I say call first, only because then we can get you prepared. I like to have somebody prepared. You know, you give me a call, I say, okay, just call, call in to our office, and then we can tell you what all it's very simple to bring in. For our regular LIHEAP, it's just picture IDs, current state IDs or driver's license, Social Security cards for everyone in the household, your utility printout or utility bills, that's your lights and gas, and your proof of income. It gets a little bit more like, and proof of income is your last 4 paycheck stubs, or if you get some type of disability or pension, it would be your most current pension or disability letter. For those that may have lost their job, their unemployment, or say they just got laid off, their termination letter, and then for those that are kind of in between and they don't have that, we have contribution forms that are filled out by churches, family members, somebody else that's been assisting them. With the crisis, of course, we need the disconnect letter, and then we just need to find out what happened that just got you behind. Because sometimes we can do more, and people don't realize that. It's just getting information from them.
Okay, so can you give me an example of a recent client you had who needed assistance with heating energy?
Yes, I did. I had a veteran who called me on the phone. He really, when I asked him, because I do get curious as to who referred him to us, so that we can say thank you, and we try to communicate. So he called on the phone and he was in really bad shape, and he said that his lights was about to be cut off. He was fighting for disability. He was also fighting, he had been injured on the job 6 months previous. And he was just in that limbo land where he wasn't able to get the workman's comp, the company's fighting him. He applied for disability. That takes anywhere from 6 months to a year, if not longer. He's applied for food stamps, so he was trying to do everything in his power to help, but people that had been helping him for the last 6 months could no longer do it. So I said, no problem, and I said, I'm going to tell you where we're at. I gave him the address. I told him everything that I just told y'all that we had to bring in. He came to our office. He was really disabled. He could barely walk. It just was it was just tragic because he's 48 years old, but it was difficult for him to walk, sit, get into our office, but he had everything that I needed. So not only was I able to do a regular LIHEAP, which helped him with $450, I was able to pay his disconnect, which was another $250. And so he wasn't going to have to really worry about his bill for at least 2 more months. I also put him in touch with, I just met with somebody because, you had us go to that job fair. Mm-hmm. And while out there, I met with Mr. Grady DuBose, who works with veterans. Mm-hmm. And he has several programs. So this man was actually in foreclosure. That's something we can't help with because once they get in foreclosure, that's too far behind. But I did give him and refer him to Mr. DuBose so that possibly that he could get help because he is a veteran, get help from him not losing his home.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great work, Diane.
Yeah.
We really appreciate what you do.
That's those moments, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how does it feel when you go home?
It feels really good because you just was able to help somebody. And, and when he came into my office, he was in tears, but when he left, he was full of hope. Mm-hmm. And that, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about another one of the programs that you work with. Can you tell us about the Homeless and Housing Assistance Program and the work you do there?
The HAP program is where we house homeless people, whether they're through an eviction or they're about to get evicted, but if their landlord does work with us, and we'll help them for 3 months. Something happened that got them behind. This past year, I was able to help 3 families. One family was evicted through no fault of her own, just that the landlord wanted the property back and didn't want to rent anymore. And we were able to house her. She was only without housing for about 2 weeks. We was able to house her and her children. Just checked with her, and she's still stably housed. In fact, she's got another job, and her son's got a job. So, and I put her in touch with Habitat for Humanity. The other family that I had who had been living there for, I think, like 14 years, we were able, because she lost her job, her son lost the job the following week, we were able to catch them up on their rent and pay a month ahead. And her son, and they both found jobs at the same place. So now, and they are doing well. She didn't even come and need assistance with her light bill like she normally does. And then the other family, actually, their house burnt down. Mm-hmm. And within 3 days, we were able to get her housed and pay for her rent, pay her deposit, pay her rent for the next 3 months. And she is doing well. She's got a full-time job now, whereas before she had a part-time job. And her and her children are going to have a good Christmas.
That's great.
Yep.
So do you help them with employment as well?
Not as an agency, but I'm the type of person that if I know of things, I give information out freely. So if I come across information, definitely I will tell them, hey, go check this out, or check that out that they're looking for, especially if I know it's something that you're interested in. And
you could refer them to the Business and Career Solutions Center?
Definitely. If they've not, I'm surprised at how many people are already in contact with them, but they still don't know how it all works. So, but yeah, definitely I will give them referrals. We actually have forms that we will send them referrals, let them know that they came through our agency. And so, because they're offering, I believe, some kind of grants or tuitions to learn, different jobs.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of training. They have like $750,000 to spend on training and education for people in St. Tammany Parish and surrounding parishes as well.
Well, I think about 3 years ago, I had a man who was on Social Security and disability, and I met him because we used to go out there to the Workforce Solutions Center and let them know that we were out there, who Community Action was, because they would do these orientations. And we actually were doing tuition also for people that wanted to go and learn a new skill or trade, or go to a college that they had to pay out of pocket for. So Social Security has a work program where you can work and still get your Social Security. He wanted to be a truck driver. So the Workforce Solutions Center helped him with part of the tuition, and we was able to give him another so that he didn't have to come out of pocket, and he graduated and he's a truck driver.
Cool.
So yeah, that's my one success story with the tuition. Yeah.
Well, you do a lot of other programs. I just want to talk about one more. You do uniforms.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
That's my pet project. I know as a single mother, when you have more than one child, uniforms can be costly, and you're getting ready for school and everything. So that's under our CSPG, our Community Service Block Grant, where we are able to, you do have to income qualify, but you're able to come in and apply for school uniform shirts. We had tried to do the pants, but everybody comes in different sizes, so now we just stick to the shirts. And so the last 2 years been successful. Everybody's been getting 5 shirts each, so that makes it easy on mom.
We have student employment.
Yes, Mr. Corey Bordelon is over the the employment program for our youth. I believe it's 16 to 20 is the age group. And he works with employers to get these, the youth hired at jobs, and then he pays out the grant monies so that they learn a new skill, two, that they're able to help their family, financially get through, to do things, with their family. So, and that's a really great program. I really wish we could service everybody, but we can only take on so many. And ones that have participated in it before, they definitely want to jump on again each summer, because it's just for the summer. But we've had really good where the employers definitely wanted certain people back, or they kept them on after the summer employment.
Full time.
Yes.
Diane, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming and talking to us about the Community Action Agency. So this has been In the Loop. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again next month.